Moonlight Serenade, Gord. This is the Wednesday preview. Warwick Farm is the venue, 2nd of August tomorrow. And apparently you're happy to get rid of this program to Thursday night and bet on something like the Cessnock program that you bet on today on Wednesday, because...
Well, I'd like to have more success than I had at Cessnock today, but yeah, no, happy about that. I do think you and Glenn are dinosaurs and a little bit too set in your ways.
You've got to remember that the idea about moving a midweek program to Thursday night is that you'll have, I don't know, soccer training or people wanting to go out. It doesn't actually fit with the profile of betting on a workday, and that's the whole idea of our Wednesday play day, is that everyone else is engaged in other things and they won't be trying to distract you from your pursuit.
Well, I always have distractions, you know. There's always a little bit of leather undies on the lounge that, you know, my lounge might get jealous.
So Warwick Farm tomorrow, it's 12 months since Gord turned up at the races. The Warwick Farm program of 12 months ago, where Pound Sterling won the first, Coco Excel won the second. I think that Centro Superior may have actually won a race on this card, and he turns up again tomorrow. And different from last year is the fact that the track will be dry, despite the fact that they say soft 6. They had 10 mils of rain yesterday, which, given the dry July that we've had, pardon the pun, is... I'm saying that the track is relatively dry. It's out 5 metres, the rail, and interestingly, the rail's actually 5 metres out all the way down the chute, which I've never seen before. I don't know what that means. But what the 5 metre position indicates is that on pace, perhaps wide draws, perhaps wide running, but certainly on pace is what we're looking for. Gord, I have to say that when you look at the first 2 races on the card tomorrow, you go, wow, I love racing.
Okay, I had to put a lot of work into these races. I don't think, you know me, I like to have an opinion after about 2 minutes of looking.
But surely you were quite excited by the 2 3-year-old maiden fields that were put down tomorrow.
I was more excited about the second than I was the first. The first, I think there's a lot of different angles there, and then when I was having a look at the markets, I thought, oh well, maybe I'm going to have to play, because I did disagree with the markets to a certain degree, but wasn't super confident about my selections in the race. So I struggled a little bit in the first, but the second I loved.
Well, look, I guess what I'm referring to is the fact that August is 3-year-old land. It's, you know, we get these horses coming back from their 2-year-old campaigns. We've already formed an opinion about these horses. They come back and they trial, and it's like, wow, you know, it's exciting. It's exciting to look at them. Whereas, you know, you can pretty much say the last 5 races, perhaps the last 3 races, perhaps the last 2 races, races that, oh, you go, oh God, this is heavy weather.
Heavy weather, yeah. They're big fields. It's a tough program, and I'm sort of a little bit confused about like going from 2 to 3 and what that means and how I'm taking the 2-year-old form.
Yeah, look, I know what you mean. It does. Obviously, you know, we haven't actually many 3-year-olds running against the older horses tomorrow, but we will have a number of those in the month to come.
Yeah.
Race 1. 3-year-old Colton Gelding maiden, 1100 metres. $3.10 is the favourite, the raced Almahaha. $3.60 I'm a Legend. $4.80 Key to Glory. $8 Cuba. $10 Piracy. $11 Puppet Master. $19 Dante Rossetti, who is an unraced Waterhouse runner, and it is in fact the only horse that I went through the field and went,
no chance.
Yeah, just not interested.
Yeah. Pretty much you could see something about all the others, couldn't you?
Yeah, there was something to get excited about all the others. I mean, number one, just to butt in here, number one started long odds on debut, but did run in a what do we call it? A scorching race at this track a fortnight ago. Came from the back, finished 2 lengths behind Addictive Nature, who we'll obviously hear a lot more of.
Yep. Addictive Nature is a serious horse. I wasn't a big fan of Almahaha. don't like it when they
Come on, I'm looking at you going, wow, Tommy Berry to Jason Collett. Jason Collett drawn gate 1. I'm thinking, tick.
It is true. I did those, and then, you know, you got to go off your eye on the video replays, and there's a few negatives there for me, so I couldn't entertain it as well. Actually, that was the second one it was the third one I penned when I was doing my ticks and crosses. So first was Dante Rossetti, second one was Puppet Master, and third one was Al Mahaha. So I was left with Cuba, I'm a Legend, Key to Glory, and Piracy, and they're the ones that I did a lot more interrogation of, because I didn't find an obvious way to scale them and determine which one was my preference. My preference is definitely number 4, I'm a Legend. Could have won that trial its last trial if it wanted to. You have references in the trials to Key to Glory and Cuba, and I'm a Legend, for me, to the eye, has shown far superior ability to those two, so they were the next two I got rid of.
Right.
And so then I'm left with what? I'm left with 2 horses.
4 and 6, so how do you line them up?
And I can't line them up. To the eye, I think I'm a Legend might be a better horse, but it's not raced yet. And I actually think there was more merit to Piracy's run last start at Hawkesbury than people will realise, and it's quite long odds at the moment.
So what is the merit?
The merit was the fact that it was over 1,000 metres. I think that horse is just a 1,000-metre horse. I think if Commanding Witness, Commanding Witness didn't shift out, Piracy probably would have gone by, but in sort of an unsuitable distance. I think
he sort of had an uncomfortable run, didn't he? He was like, there was the leader, there was the horse that was chasing the leader, and he was there trying to get into a comfortable position and not getting there. And
didn't look comfortable in running, and you know, Hawkesbury's a funny track where I'm going to go off its trial.
Hang on. Hawkesbury's a funny track that you say the form is no good from.
Well, no. Well, you've got those horses that win, like Commanding Witness, I'll be -2. Then I'll interrogate how they actually looked in running, and then I can decide whether I'll forgive that run or not. That's why I'll go off the trial 2 starts back, where I thought it trialled like a very good horse. And it did actually, even though being uncomfortable, quite a nice run at Hawkesbury where they completely gapped the rest of the field. So
they sure did.
At long odds, I think that's got a good chance, but I have number 4, I'm a Legend, on top, because I think it's the best horse.
Yeah, look, its trials have been pretty serious. Look, the thing that swayed me here was the fact that Key to Glory is a Guri horse that is a half to tactical advantage. And when I learned that, I went, ooh, because I love those Guri horses. Key to Glory is trained by Newnham, which doesn't enthuse me, but is a Guri horse ridden by Glynn, and whilst he ran slower time than the Catesby trial one that I'm a Legend and Cuba ran in, he skated home quickly his last 400 and 200. So
I'm a Legend could have gone a hell of a lot faster, and it actually went through a gap, which to see a 2-year-old do indicates to me superior abilities.
He's an exciting horse, I'm a Legend, and I'm sure he'll be well found tomorrow. Al Mahaha has run in a serious lead up over this course and distance. I mentioned Jay Collett. Gate 1 is actually in his favour, but you know, to start $26 in that race, it's going to be hard for me to find him. Cuba, when I saw Cuba in this race, who has done very little in 2 runs, but was touted in his first run and ran up to them and died. And look, I quite liked his trials. Piracy you've pretty much mentioned. Puppet Master is third run in a race back home for the first time on a quick backup, has a last start steady run. Wow, I found it a very juicy race.
Yep.
And I think we've done enough talking about it. Race 2, the fillies version, $2.30 Alizé, $6 Sweet Deal, $7 Songlike, $9.50 Milanese Girl, $10 Akumi, and $11 down the bottom State of Play, $18 Kafka. Alizé is drawn mid and can take it up should she want. Sweet Deal has pace, Akumi posies up from gate 1, and Songlike could joust for the lead here. Now, Crookie, he tweeted me today and he said, wow, Alizé has trialled like a bomb, and interestingly, Glyn Schofield is riding for the blue colours.
That is interesting, isn't it? And there's one other horse in the program as well, isn't there? Or, I think there's one other.
Anyway, yeah, we haven't seen Glyn Schofield donning the blue silks. Yeah, will this be...
This will be a moral.
This will be immoral, but what I'm saying is that Glyn Schofield is tied to James Cummings, is tied to Dominic Byrne, and, you know, is this...
And they don't have a stable rider yet, so I think they'll just sort of like mix it up with some of the senior guys for a while, and what they should do is just wait for J-Mac to get back and sign him as a stable rider again, because...
All right, but that's a fair way off,
that's
another
a fair
12
way
months off.
Yeah.
Okay, so easy to like number 1?
Loved its trials. When I had a look at this race, I thought, oh, maybe Sweet Deal's tied to Alizé. So I'll interrogate that a little bit more. And after interrogation, not only was Alizé far better last preparation, but it's actually come on. Like, you just look at the horses, the style of running. Alizé has improved dramatically, and Sweet Deal, well, it may have improved, but not to the degree of Alizé. That's
probably a good point.
That trial was dynamic. I just can't see it getting beaten because...
well, it's got the perfect setup, hasn't it? 1100, first up, middle draw, and a rider that I think will be sympathetic to it.
New feed, too.
New feed. Yeah, and no Henry.
No Henry, yeah. The only other one, because it's got a bit of DF about it, that I had a look at was number 8 Songlike, who trials the house down and disappoints on race day.
So what do you make of its first up run? Because I'm told by spies that the rider got off the horse in the trial and said this horse didn't run through the line.
That's true. That is what the jockey said, and also you can notice as well, which I think it was somebody told me, John Motter, might have been John Motter, and actually Mark Sheen, that it didn't change legs in the trial.
Yeah, so this is something you've been put onto recently.
Yeah, so maybe if Bjorn's actually educated it a little bit better now, and it not being in barrier 1, which can be sort of sticky.
Isn't Bjorn out looking for owners? Someone else got to do that job?
I'll tell you what, the amount of people that just, I don't know, it's like they want to suck his dick or something like that. It just makes me feel very uncomfortable. But anyway.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Well, he's a young, good-looking guy.
Yeah, well, is he young? I don't know. He has a very likeable personality.
Yeah. Hail fellow, well met.
Yeah. The big thing I like about Songlike is the barrier 1 to barrier 8.
Yeah, that's definitely a positive there.
So if Alizé wasn't in the race, I'd probably entertain Songlike at some sort of a price, but I think Alizé will be winning.
The bottom one has returned, well, it didn't trial that well, but then they put the blinkers on, Gerald Ryan, and she showed a bit of dash.
Yeah, wasn't really impressed by the trial. Considerably slower than Alizé on the same day,
and,
is that right? So.
Milanese Girl hasn't trialled for a month, but she was touted on debut a long time ago. She came back, did nothing, but she's returned and...
Came second to a horse that is got a big rap on it, doesn't it?
Yeah. Is that anything?
Well, what I took out of that was a nice trial. Sort of not interested in Chris Waller. You know how normally late season 2-year-olds he starts to get them going. Well, that didn't happen this season, so I'll be waiting for the young horses with him to see a little bit more of a push.
And Blake McDougall is like, well, who cares anyway?
You know, it's just such a thing with these big stables that have options for the good jockeys. If they don't put one of the good ones on,
but why are they so transparent? You know, it's like, why don't they try to be a little bit trickier?
Well, because they're not betting, are they?
Maybe. Maybe.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, look, Gord, I have to agree. Number 1, Alizé, is the most likeable horse on the card tomorrow. Race 3, fillies and mares, 1200 metres. $4.20 Marikita, who missed a run for some reason or another last Wednesday. $5.50 Reward for Fashion. $7.50 Wilcannia, $8 Perizada, $10 is Single and Free Louisa, $11 Deluxe, $13 Phoebe's Lass, $16 Princess Command Express Point, and the roughie of the field is $31 down the bottom, Dashi Deluxe. Now this is an even field. We've got one 3-year-old filly and 10 older horses, mares, all of them. And I had Louisa sticking her bib out early, but Reward for Fashion will be seeking the lead, as will Wilcannia. Deluxe has the blinkers off, and Karen McAvoy, so perhaps a little bit more conservative. Express Point will be poking underneath them. Perizada not far away, likewise Single and Free. Is there anything that your eyes are drawn to here?
No.
Was there a short list that you could possibly entertain?
Okay, there's a short list. They were number 1 Deluxe, number 3 Marikita, number 5 Wilcannia, and number 10 Louisa. They were the ones I cut it down to as the chances in the race, and then I found it very hard to
Right, so Wilcannia's had like
them.
4 trials off a short spell.
There was another gay horse that did it a little while ago and ran really impressively first up. So can't remember the name.
Yeah, so I mean, she's effectively, she pretty much hasn't had a spell. She's had a sequence of trials. The earlier ones were more appealing than the later ones. 1200 is probably okay. Look, she'll be there and has a chance. Marikita is a horse with a turn of foot that is suited by her draw, suited by the setup. Third up back from Saturday, but back in distance, and also out of that Insensata race, and we were so taken by Insensata, I'm just a little concerned about the horses that Insensata tailed up.
Yeah, this is the one I was really wanting to talk to you about, actually, because this is my starting point as to the way I'm thinking about the other horses I might back in the race. So
yeah, look, I think that she's won 2 races at Wyong, which is noteworthy. I think that her city career is going to be midweek, and it's going to be like 1300.
Okay.
Because she just needs them to be knocking up a little bit. She's got a good turn of foot. I'm not sure about coming back to 1200. But Jay Collett, right rider, right draw.
So I'd so wish he had left an apprentice on this horse, because then
Then you what?
I wouldn't have to entertain it.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
No, you're annoyed.
Well, the fact that you've got a golden switch from Barrier 1 to Barrier 8, and you've got a senior jockey on board, and you come out a Saturday grade, for me, 3 of the biggest massive ticks you can possibly give.
Yeah, so. And you want to get out to Gate 8 at Warwick Farm. Reward for Fashion is the soft one in the market as far as I'm concerned. She found the lead on a leaders circuit and held them at bay. Whereas Perizada in that same race had a terrible run. Kayla Nisbet to T. Clark. Immediately you know which way you want to play those two. And the other horse of interest as far as I'm concerned is Louisa, who's only a 3-year-old filly, resumed at 1200, was put to the sword and retired, has trialled since with a tongue tie on. Tommy Berry with a middle gate, I find her eminently... she's an eminent chance as far as I'm concerned.
Well, off the trials, I had her down as a...
No, hang on. Hang on, because everyone was very interested by your pearl about philosophy.
Which was?
Which was, I have this down as a group horse off the trials, so therefore I'm backing her tomorrow.
Oh, because I forgave...
No, but you're saying she's shown exceptional talent in the trials. Now, to say group is, I don't like that talk, but what I can read between the lines. What you're saying is this horse is really talented off its trials.
Yeah, and so I can forgive a flop, and I'm not normally very forgiving.
What was the flop? Philosophy didn't flop at all. It got in behind them and never got any clear running at Warwick Farm. You don't backing a loser.
I expected it to win the race comfortably.
Okay, so Louisa didn't even go close to, you know, she was competitive for a while, but she dropped out.
So you can forgive
You're a bit
that.
vexed here.
Yeah, I am vexed. I don't know, like, as I say, I forgive them one flop if I find something I really like in the trial, which is her, but that was last by 10.
Well, yeah, but hang on, there's one horse that's got, possibly two horses have got a run here. Reward for Fashion and Express Point, they charged around together at Canterbury, and I'm immediately discounting them.
No, so am I.
So I'm saying, you know, it's up for grabs, that race. And
What's the Reward for Fashion? You're going from Hieronymus to the Apprentice.
Yep.
And other than the Canterbury win, where I think there was a bit of lottery winning there, it was a bush horse.
Yep. So, no doubt. Right, finally to the juicy race on the card, 2,200 metres, benchmark 70, 13 runners to go round. The favourite is Bastia, who ran around 1,900 last week at Canterbury, $5.50, McAvoy to Glyn, $6 more Moe, twice winner at Kembla 2000, making his debut in town, only a 3-year-old. $7 is El Novio, $8 Pirate Ben, $8 Varuska, stablemate to Mulmurray, $11 Queen of Heights, $13 Hurricane Harbour, who's a strange horse to be popping up here, 17 Ashcand, Hurricanes and Don Pellegrino, and long odds, 20 Oakfield Monarch, long odds the bottom. It's a keen race, it's a giant field for this distance. Bastia and Pirate Ben I have in the van. More Moe is on pace, Queen of Heights is up there, Napoleon may be closer tomorrow, Hurricane Harbour, Pyramid Prince and Oakfield Monarch are all possibilities to be midfield. I hope you've been persuaded away from El Novio by the rider.
Well, geez, I was that excited about having an opinion in a distance race that, oh yeah, that's just, you know, Hugh Bowman to El Magorion isn't the greatest situation in the world. And just been up forever, had plenty of chances. I didn't find it on form either.
Right, so you've got an opinion elsewhere?
Yeah, I do. I was only interested in two horses.
Hang on, you can't be this bullish about a $33 race. It's you've just got to be reluctant. You've got to go, yeah.
Well, last time I didn't even do the form for the distance race when we did the preview on Friday, but I thought, while you guys are chatting, I'll have a look and see if I can come up with something. I came up with King Viv, who ran a solid second in Brisbane. I'm really keen on number 8, Queen of Heights. Not one of my jockeys.
Hang on, what the heck? Failed hopelessly the other day.
No, it didn't. It was never balanced, incredibly uncomfortable, and if it was more comfortable, it would have got close to a horse that absolutely...
How did you even notice that? Because, I mean, like, you're looking at this race, and I'm sure you're actually just not concentrating. I mean, I understand earlier races like... Oh, did you have your eye on this horse?
So what happened was, I'm looking at all these horses, I'm going, they're spastics, okay?
Yep.
Here I have a lightly raced thing, Chris Waller, distance trainer, has got form lines that are absolutely fantastic. It's had 2 starts over distances now to actually get it ready for the 2,200 metres, which I got off you.
Yep.
And so I thought, well, I'll watch the replay. So I watched the replay this morning, and it was obviously the last race I did because normally I'm not interested. And I thought, wow, that horse could have finished a lot closer to some serious horses in a Saturday race.
And not just a Saturday race, a scorching Saturday race.
So you like it too, yeah?
Well, she had a break between runs there. She's got Warwick Farm credentials, and there's a lot not to like in this race. Well, number 1 goes H. Bowman to El Magorion. That's kiss of death. Ashcand is backing up K. O'Hara off, the horse of some interest. Pirate Ben had every chance the other day, but you know, he's there. Bastia is racing well, and I concede that he must be considered. More Moe has found his form at Kembla 2000 and doing well. But it should be noted that Oakfield Monarch started a lot shorter than him at Hawkesbury. Hurricanes has the blinkers back on. Napoleon, not given much chance the other day, could do better. Hurricane Harbour, what the hell is he doing at 2200 at this stage of his career? Don Pellegrino, like, he just makes up the numbers as usual. Veruska found her race at Hawkesbury, Pyramid Prince off a break. It's there's bits and pieces here, but I think you've targeted the right vein in this race.
I won't be losing number 12 Veruska either. Yeah. I'm backing Queen of Heights and saving on Veruska.
Yeah, do you think it's? Do you think there's anything in that Karen is on Veruska?
Yeah, that's right. Clark's on more Moe, so.
Well, I would have thought more Moe's actually won better races. Well, you know, 2 better races than Veruska's one race. But anyway.
Yeah, I no, totally agree with that. But I'd say Karen would have had the choice, and it is lightly raced, so might have upside, and the stable might have a higher opinion of Veruska than more Moe.
And just to tidy up there, back to race 2 there, God, before we break for a well-deserved
cigarette.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that Jay Collett, who'd ridden Sweet Deal in a number of her runs and trial, I think as well, one of the trials, has gone on to Song Like. T. Clark rode at Hawkesbury, but I thought that was worth noting.
That's definitely worth noting.
All right, so that's the end of part 1. We've got 3 giant, very well.
Yeah, part 2 is going to be longer than part 1. We only got 3 races today.
I know, but they're also full of horses that you just go, wow, yeah, they're horses, but they're just horses. See you soon.